Hi everyone, and welcome to the third weekly update for the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. Now, unfortunately, I'm coming at you a couple days later in the week. It's actually Thursday the 16th around 10 o'clock, and I unfortunately haven't really filmed anything for the beginning of this week. So let me just give you a quick update on how everything's going. So the last time that I updated you was Sunday, day 12th. And that day, I told you guys that I only had one more class that I needed to complete to finish my owls so that I could put them for my career as graphic designer. And that class is Transfigurations, where you need to read a book or series that features shape shifting. And for this one, I decided to read Minky Falls Book 1, set in springtime by Mark Sorelli. And this one features shape shifting in it in the form of our main boy character hero. He has this creature thing that can shape shift into different animals. And since this is a very short manga, I managed to finish the entirety of this on day 13. So I read 165 pages. And then I proceeded not to read anything until I went to bed. And that book that I started is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. And this one is sort of an extra credit that I wanted to do for the course for Dragon Tamer training. And that one you read a book with a dragon in it, and this one, as you can tell by the cover, has dragons in it. And I only managed to read about 9 pages before midnight on day 13. So you combine the 9 with the 165 pages of Minky Falls, we get a grand total for day 13 of 174 pages, which I'm pretty stoked about. Now on to day 14, where I continued reading Eragon by Christopher Paolini, and I managed to read 61 pages of this book. And then yesterday, day 15, which is Wednesday, I read more of this book, and I only read 37 pages of this. And the reason for this is, one, I woke up a little late that day, so I didn't really have the morning to read. And then I took a shower early afternoon, and then right when I got done my shower, I started to feel kind of sick. Now, this has nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now, but it's just something that I get every once in a while. So I kind of was like down and out for a while, but I am happy to say that I am better. So when I did start to read, it was around like 7 o'clock that day, so I didn't really have much time to read for 12. So yeah, that's the update. As for today, I will be reading. Now we interrupt the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon to bring to you another read-a-thon that's happening in the month of April. And that's happening today, April 16th, and it goes to April 19th. At midnight is when it's done. So it's a 4-day read-a-thon. And I thought I'd pop in here to let you know that I will be participating in this read-a-thon called the Stay at Home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon, which is hosted by the Book2-a-thon, which is now called the Reading Rush. And I decided to participate in this because, one, I am currently done my owls, so it won't be hindering on that, and two, I have participated in the Booktubeathon since the creation of it, and I thought that I would continue and do this 4-day readathon. So let's get into the reading challenges and what I will be reading for each of those. So there are 4 reading challenges for this 4-day readathon. And the first challenge is to read a book that has a house on the cover. And for this, I'm doing a reread of Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate D. Camillo. And this book, as you can see on the top of it, has mobile homes. And that's where our main character, O.W.L, lives with her dad. And they recently moved to Florida so he can be a pastor at this church in this small town. And this is all about her finding this dog and naming it Winn-Dixie, and everything that she goes through in this town and the people she meets is all because of Winn-Dixie. And then the second reading challenge is to read a book in the same room the whole time. And for this, I decided to double up on this challenge and read the same book that I picked for the first challenge, and that is Because of Winn-Dixie. And I decided that I'm either going to read this in my room, on my bed, or either downstairs on the big gray couch. I'm not sure exactly where yet, but I'll let you know once I finally decide. And the third reading challenge is to read a book about a place that you really want to go. And this one was kind of hard for me to pick a book for this because I don't really have many books on my shelf that have sort of happy places to go. But I finally found one that works for the challenge, and that book is Fairy Dust and the Quest for the Egg by Gail Carson Levine, and it's illustrated by David Christiana. And as you can see from the cover, it has gorgeous watercolor illustrations. And I chose this book for this challenge because it's set in this really cool fairy world that if I could go to, I would really want to go to and explore and see, because it just sounds so magical and fantastic. And the fourth and final reading challenge is to read a book that will make you smile. And for this, I decided to go with the read that I'm reading for the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon, and that is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. Now, this book I've already started, and on Tuesday, I found myself smiling at this book. Not because this book is very happy-making or anything. It's actually very sort of sad with some things that are happening in it. But I just smiled because this was a book that I've read when I was younger, and it's just being back in this world just making me really happy. So I think the nostalgia factor is why it's making me smile. So that's why I'm using it for this challenge. So those are all the 3 books that I plan to read for the next 4 days of the stay-at-home reading rush. And I'm pretty confident that I can get all those books read in that time. But we shall see. So here's a picture of the chicken and rice soup that I made for me and my dad tonight. It has carrots and onions and thyme and lots of other seasonings. And the broth that we used was a homemade broth that my dad's girlfriend made. And I gotta say, the whole thing was really good. Hi everyone, it is day 22 of the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. Now, if you know where I left you off, which was day 16th, you'll know that I haven't updated you guys for a couple of days. And specifically, I haven't updated you on the stay-at-home reading rush read-a-thon that was happening on the 16th. So let me tell you how I did for that and where I am with the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. So On the first day of the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon, I decided to continue reading Eragon by Christopher Paolini. And this one I started like 3 days before the stay-at-home reading rush. But I decided to continuing this for the prompt where you have to read a book that makes you smile. And for the first day, I managed to read a total of 61 pages of this. And some of that was due to the fact that I participated in the live read-in that was happening on Instagram. Now, I didn't manage to write down how many pages I read for that, which I wish I did, but forgot to do that. And also, the 61 pages that I read of Eragon also goes towards my Dragon Tamer training extra credit course for the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. Now on to day 2 of the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon, where I continued reading Eragon and managed to read 82 pages of this. And also, like day 1, I read a bit of this during the Instagram live read-ins. And on day 2, it was hosted by Jessie the Reader. And that one was a whole bucket of fun. Now on to day 3 of the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon, which is Saturday, April 18th. And that day is my youngest sister's birthday, Allie, and she turns 26 years old that day. And in the evening time, around, I think it was 8:30 our time, 6:30 her time, because she lives in Colorado. And basically, we just had a family live chat thing on Zoom, and it was great. Her roommate and her boyfriend kind of put this together, so we kind of surprised her and sang happy birthday to her, and it just was a whole lot of fun. Now, before the live Zoom chat thing that I did with my family happened, I managed to read 87 more pages of Eragon, and 17 of those 87 pages were read during the live read-in on Instagram. And this time it was hosted by Monica Kim. And also, the 87 pages that I read of this also goes towards my Dragon Tamer training course, which is extra credit for me, and that is for the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. Then, the 4th and final day of the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon, I managed to read the last 160 pages of Eragon, which means I finished my first reading challenge, which was to read a book that will make you smile. And this definitely made me smile in a couple of spots. And this also completes my Dragon Tamer training course for dun, 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 the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon. So that concludes the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon. Now on to day 20 of the O.W.L's Magical Read-A-Thon, which is the first day where I proceeded to not read anything for the entire day. Now, I'm not mad at this because I've already completed my owls for graphic design and have read my dragon book for the Dragon Tamer training course. So I am ahead. And so from here on out, I will be reading just some more extra credit on to day 21. So for that day, I decided to listen to a book that I was going to read for the stay-at-home Reading Rush Read-A-Thon that I never got to. And that book is Because of Dixie by Kate D. Camillo. And this book fits very nicely with the Muggle class, where you need to read a book about Muggles, aka humans. And since this is a contemporary, it fits that. And I managed to listen to the entirety of this book since it was only 2 hours long as an audiobook and 182 pages long. So very doable, and I did that and I loved it, this reread. Just as much as I did the first time. But just gotta say that I love the dog, I love all the characters, and lemons lozenges, I want them to be a real thing because they sound so cool. So as for today, I decided to read Lovely War by Julie Berry. And this goes towards the class of arithmetic where you need to do something outside your favorite genre. And since this is historical fiction, which I don't typically read, this fits that prompt. And heard that this is narrated by Aphrodite, the goddess of love, which is cool, and also that the audiobook has jazz music in it. So that is a book I'll be reading for the remainder of today, and for possibly the next couple of days I'll be listening to that. So hopefully for the last week, week 4, I will hopefully remember to vlog more and give you updates on this book. So hope your reading's going well, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye!